explain my project today. In here, I put constant integer grid size so we can play with this. We can change easily, and it has like I designed as it is supposed to be power of 4, and I put change of poison 10%, but also we can change from here, and number of doodle bugs and number of end, which is set in PDF like this, but also we can play with this. And I have initialize function. With this function I initialize number of end and number of doodle bugs. Okay, and in here I have a organism class, and we have uh, horizontal and vertical integer values, which shows the coordinates, and we have lifetime, and we will do something according to that. And I have a pure virtual functions here. I I declared like this because I didn't like it's gonna be different for every class. I will derive it from this, so that's why I didn't declare here. I just put the name, and like I did as a pure virtual function for move and breathe, and get lifetime, and like for those values, private values. Actually, I didn't write, but I can write here like it's private. And for those private values, it's like every class I will derive it from organism class. Will have this. We will will need those variables. So, and I don't wanna initialize again and again. So I initialize here, and when I derive from this class, I will also derive those public functions. But for example, when I declare like this, like pure virtual function, it means that I need to initialize it again in the derived class. And set location is just to make easier to set both of like horizontal and vertical coordinates for me. I did it. And we have a class end from organism class, and like we have already private values here, and we have move and we have breathe. We have constructors to 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 initialize, and we have poison end from end class, derived from end class, and it also has move, breathe, and constructors, because I needed to write it again because they're gonna act different. It's the same function, but it's gonna act different. So, and it's in the total, it's gonna it is derived from here, pure virtual function. And I have a doodle bug, and okay, it's in here. Like I put that because doodlebug can die itself also, and there is a poison. And last move, like poisoned, when doodlebug eats an poisonous ant, it's gonna get poisoned and it's gonna die in two after two step. And for last move, it like when it is get poisoned, it counts back to 0. It starts counting. And I have also like move and breathe, and I have starve, and which is also like it cannot like kill itself, as when it doesn't eat like for eight steps. And it like I check in main. I check in main No, actually, I check in get poison function if it has to be deleted. So if it has to be deleted, I delete in main function. And I have also two constructors here. And I have a class grid. I used another object oriented method. For this, I needed a board, a grid, and I wanted to create as a class. So, and it is declared, it is declared as a double pointer grid. So it is like 2 dimensions. It's gonna be, and there is a constructor and this structure because it is dynamic allocation, and also I need copy constructor for that, and I need assignment operator, and I have print to show the screen, and I have to getter and like setter here. And in here I declared objects. First I defined a grid. I defined a grid object. I created a vector ant and vector poison ant and vector doodle bug in global, so I can reach them in everywhere. Like I didn't want to put give uh, as an argument, so I just created in global. So I will come here back again. I As you see, I just created a double array according to the grid size that is given, and prints it deletes for it delays double uh, yeah, it delays double because it's to the array. And we have copy constructor, and we have assignment operator here, and yeah, we have move. First, it's like first I choose the direction randomly, totally randomly, and after, if it's left, I gotta check. I gotta check if the location, if if the location is already 0, so it cannot go to left. That's why I check it. So if it's already 0, so I cannot move. And I need to check if it's empty, because ant cannot eat anything, so it has to be empty. So if it's not 0 and if it's empty, so I just put ants there, and after I put empty the location, and after I change the location of the object here, and it does the same thing pretty much. It just the directions. So for up, I need to check the vertical if it's already at the top, and for right, I check if it's already in the end of the array, so it cannot go more. It's a segmentation fold, and yeah, it goes like that. For breed, it also choose randomly, totally randomly, and like I calculated the chance here. Uh, okay, yeah, I first I say that, like, for example, if we give 10%, if we give this from constant, and if we give this 10%, and I take like a random variable, the random value up to 100, and if it is less than 10, so it's 10% of it, so it's the poison is true, so it's going to be poisonous, and, or false if it's not. And after it does the same thing, but in here there is something different. I check first if it's empty, and if it's not the if it's in the grid, and after I check here that If it's poisonous, I put poisonous. I put the object to poisonous vector here, as you see. And if it's not poisonous, I put the object to normal ends group. And to up, it does the same thing. So I will just pass that. So it's getter, setter, and constructors, and yeah, it continues like that. So poisonous and move. So it's the same as normal end, but why do I need to write it again? Because I write it because I need to change the character of it. So I put C here, but I was putting O before for the end, so I need to write it again, but it's the same. And breathe. So mm, I first I created an empty like a vector, and I wanted to put the location if it's empty or if it's available. So first I check every location around the poisonous end, and I put it in a vector. So if all if not, okay, I will just pass here. If there is empty cell, for example, I check left. So if it's empty, I put 0 for left, 1 is up, 2 is right, and 3 is down. So and after I check here, and for example, let's say all of the locations are empty, so we have 4 here, and it's 4. So up to 4 we have random variables, so I choose randomly where to go. And after, if the chosen one is left, so I go left, or if chosen one is up, I go up. Is the vector is for that. But if there is no place, so it has to fight. So it has to fight, and I just check for like, because it's gonna eat whatever it is, and it's gonna fight and win. So just I check if it's in the grid. If it's in the grid, first I go there, just take the place, and I clean the dead organism, like organisma. Uh, I clean like this. I just check the locations are the same where I look, and when it is there, like I just clean the object here. I just clean the object here, as you see. I do for like, it's for, I don't know what it is. When I beat it can be ant, it can be another poisonous ant, or it can be doodlebugs. So I just check everything here, and I declare cleaned one. So if, okay, yeah, clean one, clean. I don't look for all of it in one. I check first end, and if it's end, I don't check the others. But if it's not end, I will check the other like poisonous. If it's not poisonous, I check doodlebug in the end. And also after, I put another object where, so because it's breeding, so I put another object to the location I choose, and it does the same thing for another directions, but it's the same. And I explained here. So I press here. Yeah, doodlebug move. Uh, doodlebug move is the same as ant. Oh, sorry. Doodlebug move. So it eats, and first, like it checks around if there is something to eat. So I either poisonous or normal ant. If it is found, if it is found, for example, I check left here. If it is found, so I first, like, if it can be ant, so if it's end, I just delete end from the vector. If it's not end, I declared I clean the poisonous end vector, and also I I declared poison p one. So it means that the object, the doodlebug, is get poisoned. And in the end, I put doodle bag x to the location, and I clean the location before after, and I update the location. It does the same thing for every um, every direction. But for example, like if the flag is for like if I found the place and if I take it already, so I don't need to check the others. So if it's flag 0, so I need to check, but if it's flag 1, so in here it is, so it doesn't check the others. So it's support like it's apply efficiency, more efficiency, because it doesn't execute the whole code in the end. Yeah, and here I like, and here if there is nothing to it, so if it's the flag still 0, like I check all the locations and if still 0, so I choose randomly as end, so it's the same as end. But and also here, so because it can't move 4 steps without eating, so it like decrease the death, so it gets closer to that because it couldn't find anything to eat for this round. And it does the same thing here. And there is breed, so I choose randomly again, and it's the exact the same as normal end here. So I don't, yeah, there is star. So that if that is 0, so if that is 0, like as you remember, I said like that the decrease here. If it couldn't eat for 3 rounds, so that is 0, because I already, when I create the object, that is 3 at first. And if it's 0, so it means it has to die. So I find here the location, and after I put empty, and I return the I return the location in the vector, which object is gonna be deleted. And if it's not that, so I just return -1. I will explain more in main. And get poison, if it gets poison, so last move is decrease. So we have only 2 move after get poison, and last move is just if it's 0, so I does the same thing. I just return the location of of the object in the vector in here. And initialize, so I just initialize randomly to the map, like I initialize the number of ends and doodlebugs here. I just make my work easier. And I'm going back to the main. So I just initialize first, and I put a flag. So I will check. Sorry. So I will check the flag if the entered character is entered. So it's gonna continue doing. It's continue printing. So in here first I print to the screen, and after I say the number of creatures according to the vector, and after first doodlebugs move, and doodlebugs move first, and after I check if get poisoned, and if get poisoned, and if it has to be dead, so I check, so like because when it's not supposed to be dead, it doesn't return -1. So if it doesn't return -1, it means that it has to die. So I just delete here the object. So it's the same for star. It works the same for star. And in the end, I check if it can breathe or not directly. Like for 8 with 8, so it can breathe. So it just breathe here. So ant move is more basic. It's just move, and after I check if it can breathe, and it breathe. And also for ants move, I do the same. It's not different. So I finish here. So I show the code here first. So in here we have 5 doodle bugs and 10 ants here, the map. And when I enter it goes like that. I'm making quicker now. At some point, doodle bugs are going to die. Most of it. Yeah, it continues like that. And when I don't press the enter anymore, it just closes. Thank you for your time.